Now, to find the kitchen down below, hard rocky areas, artificial reefs, and wrecks are usually indicated on most NOAA nautical charts. And you'll need to become familiar with the abbreviations and legends that are used on those charts so you can pick the most likely places to start your search.
I tend to look on maps and charts and aerial photographs for things that tend to wall up bait, that tend to catch bait. And if you'll notice behind us, there's a big point of land sticking out there with a big chunky bunch of rocks on it. Well, I think that probably in a general sense attracts bait here. Now, I'll drift out here if we don't catch any fish at this depth. I'll make another drift at a different depth off this point, probably closer in because it's a little rockier in there and it's a high tide. We safely can go in there. And I keep watching the bottom. This is good bottom. It's got some high grass in it. It doesn't have a lot of white sandy patches, at least on this drift. I see some coming up. I see some off to your right. That you need to do this. You need to, when you fish these places, you need to go for those spots that have the white sandy patches where the fish tend to lay in or lay around looking to ambush something, a piece of bait that comes through. Out here in the general grass flats, everybody's hiding out here. They're a little more aggressive probably around those holes. And what's happening here is the tide is rising, and ideally the predatory fish are laying out here waiting for bait to wash towards them. You see mullet out here jumping, and they're starting to jump back towards the bar as the tide rises. As the tide comes up deeper over the top of the bar, there'll be more fish up on the bar.
This is where the kitchen is.
Yeah.
This is where they come to eat.
Right. But you got to find bait, and you got to, that's the first thing people need to do. They need to look at where they're fishing. We got oyster bars in here, a creek mouth. This is sort of classic Big Bend, Florida here. Pretty shallow out here, probably 3 feet deep. The tide's rising. I don't see any bait other than mullet, but I do see mullet, and I see all sizes of mullet. These plugs that we're fishing are all 3 and 4 and 5 inches long. So if you start seeing those 3 and 4 and 5 inch mullet jumping, you're right there at the grocery store. So the trick is to see that. You might later in the summer in a place like this, we're fishing late spring now, start seeing whitebait, glass minnows moving in here, birds over the top of them. Even in this shallow water, you're likely to see Spanish mackerel in here.
If you're targeting migratory fish like kingfish, cobia, tuna, and others, the kitchen is constantly moving, and so are the game fish. You can, however, usually predict when they're going to be in a specific area based on generations of this migratory movement. Salmon, striped bass, sea trout, and the like move into rivers and estuaries or onto structure at certain times of year to spawn. Others, like kings, cobia, and tuna, follow both the bait and their preferred water temperature, moving up and down the coasts to remain in their comfort zone.